Hello, and welcome back to the original Larry D's Food for Thought. Today we will be, of course, we'll be reading out of the Old King James Bible, and we will be reading out of the Old Testament and out of the New Testament to the law and to the testimony. Here a little and there a little. Okay. We also will be going over a few scriptures today concerning the title, and the Lord shall come and woe unto the nations, and the Lord shall come and woe unto the nations. Okay. I'm gonna share these scriptures with you right quick here. You can jot them down if you like. But yeah, people, I'm tell you something, the Lord gonna come and woe, woe, woe be unto the nation, not only to the nations, but the inhabitants of the earth as well. And I hope that, I'm doing these lessons and because I hope that a light bulb or something will come on in your brain and your head and say, hey, maybe I better get me a Bible and start reading about this stuff. Because if you do start reading, you read all the stuff the Lord had written that happened in the past, and it did come to pass, you can best believe that the stuff he had written is going to come to pass in the future. About the future is going to also come to pass. Okay, because God said his word is true. He said heaven and earth will pass away, but his word shall not pass away. Okay, but anyway, I'm gonna stop sharing these. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get in these scriptures right quick here. We're going to start this in, let's see, Revelation, the eighth chapter. And I'm going to start reading at verse 5. And it reads, and the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. Verse 6. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The Lord gonna have seven angels with seven trumpets when he come, and they each one are gonna blow, and every time they blow that trumpets, the Lord's gonna pour some wrath out up on this earth. Okay, you do not want to get caught up in it if you be so blessed. Okay, verse 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burned up, and all green grass was burned up. Okay, we ain't gonna read all about all of these trumpets being blown, but we're gonna cover some other things. Verse 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. Okay, so I tell you, people, this thing is going to be devastating. Okay, but let's turn right over here to Revelation, the ninth chapter, and I'm going to read one verse right here, verse 12, and it reads, and woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So woe, woe, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, people. Okay, but let's go on over here. Let's go back. Let's go to the old book right quick. I want to show you this over here in Jeremiah. See what the Lord had, brother Jeremiah, right here. I'm gonna tell you something, people. This thing is gonna be devastating, man. And if you can escape it, which you can, but you got to get on the Lord's good side, okay? Okay, going to Jeremiah 25, and let's see, gonna start reading at verse 26, and it reads, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world, which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Now, what drink is the Lord talking about? He's talking about drinking of that wrath he gonna bring upon this earth, okay? And let's see, verse 27. Therefore, thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall and rise no more because of the sword which I will bring among you. 28. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink. Okay, you're gonna drink of that wrath. All right, 29. For lo, I began to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and that city is Jerusalem. Okay, and should ye be utterly unpunished? He asked the question, ye shall not be unpunished. Okay, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, said the Lord of hosts. Verse 30. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, the Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. Verse 31. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord has a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. And he ain't talking about patting you on the shoulder pleading neither. He's talking about doing some serious killing people, I'm telling you. We're going to read that. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. I'll be doing some killing people. He ain't coming back here patting nobody on the head. All right. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the earth, man. There'll be so many people dead, man, laying upon the earth. Ain't gonna be able to bury them all. Be laying like dung on the earth. But I'm telling you something, this thing is gonna be something. Let's go over here right quick. You might say, well, LD, I don't know if that's gonna be the Lord doing all of that. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna read something right here to you. Tell you who's gonna be doing this stuff. All right, we're going to Amos. We're gonna read Amos, the 3rd chapter. And I'm gonna read one verse here. Amos 3 and 6. And it reads, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Ask the question. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord has not done it? Hmm? Okay, talking about even the Lord God of Israel. Okay, tell you something. He be doing all this stuff, man, trying to get people's attention, right? Even to this day. Man, look at these tornadoes, hurricanes, and flood and all that stuff right there, man, taking out a lot of these people. And some of it don't take them out, but it destroy a lot of their stuff. Lord, trying to get their attention. And when that evil come, who it come from? Come from the Lord. Hey, wake up, people. Okay? But let's move on. Let's go over here to Matthews right quick. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Lord had a lot of stuff wrote over here. Uh, right here in Matthew, the 24th chapter. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of this stuff that he had written, he said, we're seeing this stuff right now. But all this stuff we're seeing right now, all this terrible stuff, this is just the beginning of our sorrows. Okay. But let's see, we're going Matthew 24 and start reading that verse. Let's see, verse 7. And it reads, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. Now you seeing all this stuff now, okay? Seeing nations rising against, fighting against nations right now. Seeing earthquakes every which way. I mean, everywhere, okay? Verse 8, all these are just the beginning of sorrows, okay? Verse 10, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. You see that happening right now. People betraying people like left and right. Okay. And hating on one another. Verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Where you see these false prophets at? Standing right there in front of you in them pulpits. First day of the week. Think about it. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You can't There's no love for nobody anymore. You try and wave and speak at somebody, and nowadays they look at you and turn, look at you sideways. What's wrong with you? What you speaking to me for? It was crazy. But we seeing all this stuff now. Okay. But I'm gonna show you something uh in relation to that too, about the stuff we seeing now. All right. Let's see. Then people say, hey, well, I ain't have to worry about it, LD. Uh all the stuff the Lord gonna bring because Lord gonna rapture me off or the church off to heaven. Let's take a look at that and see. Verse 29. Immediately after after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Okay, so look here. What did he just say here? The Lord's not even going to come until after, immediately after the tribulation. Okay, all right, he going to pour his wrath out when he come, and then he going to allow that man of sin to wreak havoc upon this earth for 3.5 years, just prior to his coming. But he's not coming to after that 3.5 years of great tribulation. So the Lord not gonna come down here and sneak you off the earth, take you back to heaven, then turn around and come back down here to earth and fight these nations. When the Lord make his decision, he coming, and he gonna keep coming. Okay, you're gonna best you can do. If you be so blessed, meet him in the air, then you're gonna come on down here to the earth, back down to the earth with him. All right. But I want you to see this verse. Let's see. Verse 33. Now listen to this. We talking about all those things we seeing now, you and I. Okay. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. So we are close to the end, people. All right. All this is in red. This is the Lord talking here. All right. Verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation, that's us, shall not pass till all things be fulfilled. Whoa. Okay. Hmm. That in mind, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. Lord's word is true. They ain't gonna pass away. All right. But keep that in mind, man. We are close, people. All right. Yeah, let's go over here to let's go to Zechariah right quick. Let me show you this here. Cause hey man, the Lord come, he's not gonna be playing. Whoa, until these nations. And okay. But let's see. We're going to Zechariah 14. I'll start reading at verse 1. And it reads, Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and the spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee, for I will gather all nations together, uh, nations against Jerusalem to battle. And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. The Lord coming down here, he got a controversy with these nations, and he is going to wreak some havoc. Okay. Oh man, I tell you what. All right, let's see, verse 6. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. Man, I can't even hardly think about what a day like that would look like. Okay, verse 9. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. Okay. The Lord gonna come and take this earth down, and he is gonna run this earth. He gonna rule it with a rod of iron. It's gonna be one government, and that government's gonna be upon his shoulder. Okay, but like I say, he gonna run it. He gonna rule it with a rod of iron. You ain't doing what he say now. You will then if you be so blessed to still be here. Okay, but let's go a little bit further here. Go read this to you here. We've read this before, but I'm gonna read it again so that you will keep this in mind, man. Say, hey, I gotta get on the good side of the Lord. Okay. All right, this is Isaiah 66. Start reading verse 15, and it reads, For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Man, you see that? Told you, Lord ain't coming to pat nobody on the back. He coming here to do some serious killing. The slain of the Lord shall be many. This is future we reading here, people. Okay. But let's move on. Let's go a little bit further here. Let's go over here to Revelations right quick. Hmm, on Revelations, sixth chapter. And I want to read one verse here. Let's see. I think that's no, it's a couple of verses here. Revelations 6. And I'll start reading at verse 8. And it reads, And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Mm. Verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Verse 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand, people? Tell you, will you be able to stand? Depends on what you're going to do now. Okay. But let's go over here. I'm going to show you this here. Let's go back to the new old book. I'll read this here. Let's see. On the Psalms. Psalms 110. 110th chapter of Psalms. And let's see, we're going to start reading at verse 1. And it reads, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Okay. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion, rule there in the midst of thine enemies. I got a lot of enemies. Lord said that mine enemies are more than the hairs upon my head. Boy, he come back, he gonna be tearing some heads up, people. I'm telling you. All right. Verse 5. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Verse 6, he shall judge among the heathens of nations. All right. He shall judge among the nations. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. Whoa. He shall wound the heads over many countries. Mm. Tell you something, you're going to fill the place with dead bodies. We read over there in Revelation when he said they're going to be laying like dung up on the ground. They ain't going to be able to bury them all. Have them, no more the more wild beasts and fowls of the air gonna come down and they gonna eat the flesh of them, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna have a great. That's why the Lord talking about that great supper he had. Yeah, it's a supper. They're gonna have them a good supper. I'm telling you, there's gonna be so many people, man, killed. I'm telling you, man, this earth is evil. People are evil. They doing some stuff probably you and I don't even know about against the Lord. But the Lord see it. He gonna get them. Believe you me, they ain't getting away with nothing. Right now, they just getting by, but they ain't getting away. Okay. But let me go and read this last scripture right quick to you here. Because this is written in red, man. I'm gonna tell you what the Lord said because a lot of people say, well, Lord, that's the Father doing all this. No, that ain't the Father doing that. That's Jesus doing that stuff. Okay. Oh, let's see. Revelation 22, verse 13. And it reads, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. So Jesus is the only God we have ever dealt with, and he is the only God we're going to ever deal with, even to the end. Okay. So I tell you, people, if you ever have thought about it, hey, do it now. Get on the Lord's good side and stay on it. Okay, because you do not want to get caught up in this wrath here. Because I'm telling you, the Lord will have you drinking it. All right. Okay, so with that food for thought, think on these scriptures and words throughout the course of the day. And until next time, peace.